The lead tug is the Rachel. Built in 1976, by Allied Shipyard Incorporated of La Rose, Louisiana, hull number 151, as the Equator United Tugs Incorporated of Belle Chasse, Louisiana. In 1981, the tug was acquired by the St. Philip Coastal Towing Company of Tampa, Florida, where the tug was renamed as the Esther St. Philip. In 1981, the tug was chartered to Offshore Express Incorporated of Houma, Louisiana, where she was renamed as the Offshore Endeavor. In 1982, she was returned to the St. Philip Coastal Towing Company of Tampa, Florida, where she was renamed as the Esther St. Philip in 1986. The St. Philip Coastal Towing Company's offshore tug and barge fleet was acquired by the Teco Transport and Trade Corporation of Tampa, Florida and operated under the Teco subsidy Gulf Coast Transit Company of Tampa, Florida, where she was renamed as the Edie Stevens. In 1994, she was acquired by the Bay Transportation Company of Tampa, Florida, where the tug was renamed as the Kinsman Challenger. In 1998, the Bay Transportation Company was acquired by Vid Marine Incorporated of Tampa, Florida, where the tug was renamed as the Challenger. In 2000, Vid Marine Incorporated is acquired by Seabulk Towing Services Incorporated of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where the tug retained her name. In 2010, she was bareboat chartered by the Tradewinds Towing Company of St. Augustine, Florida, where the tug retained her name. In 2011, the tug was acquired by the Tradewinds Towing Company, where she was renamed as the Rachel, named for Rachel Smith, co-founder of the Tradewinds Towing Company, and sister to company president Dominique Smith. Powered by two Caterpillar 3516 diesel engines, with rangeous reduction gears, at a ratio of 6.8 to 1. Turning 2, 4-bladed, fixed pitch, stainless steel propellers, mounted in quart nozzles. For a rated 3,800 horsepower, her electrical service is provided by two 75 kilowatts generator sets. The tug's capacities are 86,000 gallons of fuel, 1,650 gallons of lube oil, and 12,000 gallons of potable water. The towing gear consists of an Intercon DD200, double drum, towing winch outfitted with 2,000 feet of 2-inch towing wire on the port drum, and 1,800 feet of 2-inch towing wire on the starboard drum. The USS Samuel B. Roberts is one of the final ships in the United States Navy's Oliver Hazard Perry class of guided missile frigates. Commissioned in 1986, the ship was severely damaged by an Iranian mine in 1988, leading U.S. forces to respond with Operation Praying Mantis. Repaired and returned to duty, the ship served until decommissioned in 2015. The frigate was named for Samuel B. Roberts, a Navy coxswain who was killed while evacuating the U.S. Marines during the Battle of Guadalcanal in 1942. Roberts was posthumously awarded the Navy Cross. Samuel B. Roberts was the third U.S. ship to bear the coxswain's name, after Samuel B. Roberts, DE-413 John C. Butler class destroyer escort, commissioned in 1944 and sunk in the battle off Samar later that year, and Samuel B. Roberts, DD-823, a Gearing class destroyer, commissioned in 1946 and struck in 1970. Samuel B. Roberts was launched in December 1984 by Bath Iron Works in Bath, Maine and sponsored by the wife of Jack Hewson, a member of DE-413's crew. The frigate was put in commission in April 1986 under the command of Commander Paul X. Wren. Samuel R. Roberts deployed from her home port in Newport, Rhode Island, in January 1988, heading for the Persian Gulf to participate in Operation Earnest Will, the escort of reflagged Kuwaiti tankers during the Iran-Iraq War. Samuel B. Roberts had arrived in the Persian Gulf and was heading for a refueling rendezvous with USS San Jose on April 14 when the ship struck an Iranian mine in the central Persian Gulf, an area she had safely transited a few days earlier. The mine blew a 15-foot hole in the hull, flooded the engine room, and knocked the two gas turbines from their mounts. The blast also broke the keel of the ship. Such structural damage is almost always fatal to a vessel. The crew fought fire and flooding for 5 hours and saved the ship. Among other steps, sailors cinched cables on the cracked superstructure in an effort to stabilize it. She used her auxiliary thrusters to get out of the minefield at 5 kilometers (5.8 miles per hour. San Jose's helicopters provided firefighting and engineering supplies to augment the crew's efforts. According to How We Fight, by the U.S. Naval War College, the ship never lost combat capability with her radars and Mark 13 missile launcher. However, according to No Higher Honor by Bradley Peniston, the ship lost power for at least 5 minutes. After power was lost, the radars were disconnected to allow restoration of the power grid. The ship lost track of an Somme frigate and an Iranian P-3 that it had been monitoring. 10 sailors were medevaced by HC-5 CH-46s embarked on San Jose for injuries sustained in the blast. 6 returned to Samuel B. Roberts in a day or so. 4 burn victims were sent for treatment to a military hospital in Germany, partly through the assistance of the 2nd Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron. Eventually they were moved to medical facilities in the United States. When U.S. divers recovered several unexploded mines, they found that their serial numbers fitted into the sequence on mines seized the previous September aboard an Iranian mine layer named Iran AJR. 4 days later, U.S. forces retaliated against Iran in Operation Praying Mantis, a one-day campaign that was the largest American surface engagement since World War II. U.S. ships, aircraft, and troops destroyed 2 Iranian oil platforms allegedly used to control Iranian naval forces in the Persian Gulf, sank the Iranian frigate Iris Sahand, 1969, damaged another, and sank at least 3 armed high-speed boats. The U.S. lost 1 Marine helicopter and its crew of 2 airmen in what appeared to be a night maneuver accident rather than a result of hostile operations. On June 27, 1988, Samuel B. Roberts was loaded onto Mighty Servant II, a semi-submersible heavy-lift ship owned by Dutch shipping firm Wijsmuller Transport and carried back to Newport for $1.3 million. The frigate arrived at Portland, Maine, yard on October 6, 1988 for repairs. The repair job was unique. The entire engine room was cut out of the hull, and a 315-ton replacement module was jacked up and welded into place. She undocked April 1, 1989 for sea trials. The repairs were completed 3 weeks ahead of schedule at a cost of $89.5 million, $3.5 million less than expected. By comparison, Princeton, which was damaged by a moored mine during the 1991 Gulf War, was repaired for $24 million. However, the cruiser was not directly struck by the mine and her displacement is nearly twice that of Samuel B. Roberts. The mine that nearly sank Samuel B. Roberts had an estimated cost of $1,500. After 13 months of repairs, Samuel B. Roberts was returned to service in October 16, 1989 ceremony. Samuel B. Roberts made her second deployment in 1990 for Operation Desert Shield and Operation Desert Storm. The frigate operated as part of the Red Sea Maritime Interception Force, an international force of ships that enforced UN and sanctions against Iraq. The frigate's sailors boarded more than 100 merchant ships in efforts to prevent cargo shipments to or from Iraq. On March 28, 1991, she returned to Newport. Sammy B., as the ship is sometimes called, was later homeported in Mayport, Florida. On August 30, 1991, Joseph A. Sestak took command of Samuel B. Roberts, which was named the Atlantic Fleet's best surface combatant in the 1993 Battenberg Cup competition. Samuel B. Roberts was decommissioned at Mayport on May 22, 2015, then towed to the Naval Inactive Ship Maintenance Facility in Philadelphia. In January 2023, the ship is being towed from Philadelphia to EMR International Shipbreaking Limited in Brownsville, Texas, for scrapping. The stern tug is the Signet Ranger, built in 2004 by A&B Industries of Morgan City, Louisiana, hull number 312, as the Janet Catherine for Cetacean Marine Incorporated of Dania Beach, Florida. In 2014, the tug was acquired by the Signet Maritime Corporation of Houston, Texas, where she was renamed as the Signet Ranger, powered by 2 Caterpillar 3512B diesel engines, with twin-disc MG 5600 reduction gears, turning 286-inch by 55-inch 5-bladed Aqualoy stainless steel propellers. For a rated 3,000 horsepower, her electrical service is provided by 2 72 kilowatts generator sets, driven by 2 Caterpillar 3054T diesel engines. The tug's capacities are 37,000 gallons of fuel, 5,000 gallons of potable water, 150 gallons of lube oil, and 150 gallons of dirty oil storage. The deck equipment consists of a 30 horsepower, hydraulic, McElroy capstan,